the Indianapolis Colts select quarterback Peyton Manning.
It's tradition for NFL fans to boo Commissioner Roger Goodell at the draft, but they've also been known to boo their own team's draft selections too. And there's nothing better than those players that went on to prove their fan bases wrong. Before we get to this list, we'd like to give a big shout out to Scott Wire for suggesting this video. If you have any ideas for lists, let us know in the comments section down below. You never know, we might use one and give you a shout out. Donovan McNabb. This is by far the most memorable moment when it comes to draftees getting booed by their own supporters. And of course, it would be the ruthless Philadelphia Eagles fan base at the forefront of it all. This wasn't a normal booing instance. The Eagles fans booed McNabb as if he were a star player from the rival Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants. It was insane how rude the fans at the draft were to him.
The Eagles select Donovan McNabb, quarterback, Syracuse University.
McNabb was taken second overall by the Eagles in 1999, right after the all-time draft bust Tim Couch went to the Cleveland Browns at number 1. Philly desperately needed a quarterback, so what wasn't to like? All McNabb did in Philly was earn 6 Pro Bowl selections and finish as their all-time leader in completions, passing yards, passing touchdowns, and wins. He led the Eagles to 5 NFC Championship games and a trip to Super Bowl 39, where they narrowly fell to the New England Patriots. Philadelphia also made the postseason in 8 of McNabb's 11 seasons. So I ask you, Eagles fans, was that really worth booing over? J.J. Watt. Houston Texans fans were understandably frustrated. The franchise missed the playoffs for the 9th consecutive season in 2010, and the patience of the fan base was wearing thin. The Texans had a prime opportunity to do something big at the 2011 draft, and they did that when they took Wisconsin defensive end J.J. Watt with number 11 selection. Defensive end was a position of need for the Texans. They were already set on offense with Matt Schaub, Andre Johnson, and Arian Foster. But a number of Texans fans hated the pick, and many of them gave Watt a cold reception to the NFL. In a 2016 interview with Graham Bensinger, Watt revealed that he kept the video of Texans fans booing him on his phone and on his computer. Watt admitted that he wasn't bothered by it and that he understood the fans' disapproval of the pick, noting that he wasn't as well known as the other prospects. Well, good thing Watt kept the receipts. He only went on to become the greatest player in franchise history, winning the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2012, 14, and 15. Watt was instrumental in turning the long-time losing franchise into an NFC force. The Texans won the AFC South 6 times during Watt's 10 seasons there between 2011 and 20. His Hall of Fame career will end elsewhere, but Watt single-handedly changed the direction of the Houston Texans franchise. I'm sure their fans wish they could take back those boos now. Eli Manning. Manning wasn't a San Diego Charger for long, but hey, he still technically proved those fans who booed him wrong. He totally qualifies for this list. Manning and his father, former NFL quarterback Archie, made it clear that he had no desire to be a Charger ahead of the 2004 draft. They still took him first overall, and the younger brother of Peyton was immediately met with thunderous boos.
Quarterback, Mississippi.
The New York Giants wound up taking Phillip Rivers with the number 4 pick, but they quickly struck a deal with the Chargers, landing Manning in exchange for Rivers and 3 draft picks. Rivers turned out to be the superior quarterback from a statistical perspective, but Manning accomplished the ultimate goal twice, leading the Giants to Super Bowl championships in the 2007 and 11 seasons. He was named the MVP of both games, too. Both the Giants and Chargers turned out to be massive winners in this trade, one that changed the landscape of the NFL over the next decade and a half. Sheldon Richardson. It's a strange tradition among the New York Jets fan base, but they just love booing the team's draft selections. Maybe that's why the league stopped hosting the draft in New York City every year. Jokes, people. The Jets have drafted worse than the majority of professional sports clubs over the past 20 or so years. But Sheldon Richardson was a solid pick at number 13 overall back in 2013. Not that fans at the time liked the selection anyways.
Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle, Missouri.
The Jets acquired that pick from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Darrelle Revis blockbuster trade. And it didn't take Richardson long to eventually prove the fans wrong. He won the 2013 Defensive Player of the Year award after tallying 3.5 sacks, 78 combined tackles, 1 forced fumble, and 12 tackles for a loss. He followed it up with his first career Pro Bowl nod in 2014. Richardson lasted just 4 seasons with the Jets before he was traded to the Seattle Seahawks in 2017. But he was a run-stopping force during his tenure. You see, New York fans, all you gotta do is give a guy a chance. Leonard Williams. While we're on the topic of the Jets, 2 years after drafting Sheldon Richardson, the Jets further beefed up their defensive line by taking USC defensive end Leonard Williams with the number 6 selection in 2015. And guess what? The Jets fans in Chicago weren't exactly pleased with the pick.
Leonard Williams, defensive end, USC.
So Williams, like Richardson, was a first-round pick and defensive lineman who got booed by Jets fans on draft day. And like Richardson, Williams' tenure with New York didn't last long, though he did a lot of good during his brief stay there. Williams earned a PFWA All-Rookie Team selection in 2015, and a year later he was named to the Pro Bowl after recording 7 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 11 tackles for a loss. Williams is one of the few impactful players in his 3.5 seasons with the Jets, as they endured a painful and unsuccessful rebuilding period. Amid another disappointing year, he was sent to the New York Giants ahead of the 2019 trade deadline in exchange for 3rd and 5th round picks. Williams had a career year for the Giants in 2020, recording a career-high 11.5 sacks. That's enough to silence the critics who booed him on draft day. Travis Frederick. To be fair to Dallas Cowboys fans, it's hard to be optimistic about anything the franchise does these days. It's easy to question any of Jerry Jones' moves, even though his recent track record has actually been strong. Sometimes, dare we say, Cowboys fans have to learn to trust Jerry. The Dallas owner pulled off quite the draft stunner when he took Wisconsin center Travis Frederick, 31st overall in 2013.
Travis Frederick, center, Wisconsin.
Wow, wow, wow. I have a 3rd round grade on Travis.
The Cowboys went way off the board with that pick. Frederick wasn't exactly viewed as a first-round talent, but Jerry saw something special in him, and he and Frederick proved the naysayers wrong. Frederick played just 6 seasons before retiring in 2020, but he was one of the NFL's elite offensive linemen during his brief career. Frederick earned 5 Pro Bowl selections, and he was a first-team and a 2-time second-team All-Pro. Frederick was an anchor along the Dallas O-line that was by far the NFL's best during his NFL career. And of course, he reminded Cowboys fans that you shouldn't boo a player without giving him a chance. Zach Martin. Travis Frederick wasn't the only Cowboy offensive lineman to get booed by fans after getting drafted. Zach Martin experienced the same thing 1 year earlier.
Zach Martin, guard, Notre Dame.
That could start at all 5 positions in the offense.
Many Dallas fans wanted the team to take Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Manziel with the number 16 pick in 2014. Jerry Jones admitted that he wanted to take Johnny football too, but his son Steven made him go with Martin instead. The younger Jones proved to be correct. Martin has already built a Hall of Fame career. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler and a 4-time first-team All-Pro, who has already blocked for 3 rushing champions, DeMarco Murray in 2014 and Ezekiel Elliott in 2016 and 18. Heck, if it weren't for Aaron Donald, you can make the argument that Martin was actually the best player selected in the 2014 draft, and Dallas fans booed him. Seriously, Cowboys fans?
Aren't you embarrassed?
Ken O'Brien. O'Brien is the 3rd Jets draft choice to land on our list. We warned you that this fan base does it a lot. The 1983 NFL Draft is best remembered for being the dream class of quarterbacks. 3 future Hall of Famers were selected in the first round, and the second tier was solid too. And the Jets got themselves a gem in Ken O'Brien, taking him 24th overall. And yes, it took O'Brien some time to win over the love of Jets fans. I mean, the fans hated the pick before Pete Rozelle even revealed the name. Take a listen.
Quarterback, Ken O'Brien of California Davis.
Okay, Jets fans, just relax for a second. O'Brien earned 2 Pro Bowl selections with the team, and he was named the 1985 AFC Player of the Year after throwing for 3,888 yards and 25 touchdowns. He took New York to the postseason 3 times in his 9 seasons there, getting as far as the divisional round in 1986. Considering how much the Jets struggled in this post-Joe Namath era before drafting O'Brien, we'd like to think that he never once deserved those boos he received on draft night. Baker Mayfield. Look, Cleveland Browns fans, we get it. Your team wasted a ridiculous amount of top 5 draft picks for 2 decades, but you can't just boo everybody. Even the worst teams hit a home run the odd time. The Browns surprised many when they took Oklahoma quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield with the top selection in 2018. Many projected that Sam Darnold, Saquon Barkley, or Josh Rosen would be the top choice. But when Roger Goodell announced that Mayfield was the top pick, the latter received a rather mixed reaction from the fans. You could hear plenty of boos to go along with some loud cheers.
Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Oklahoma.
Mayfield showed promise right off the bat in Cleveland, leading them to a 7-8-1 season. 1 year after, they went 0-16. He also tossed 27 touchdown passes, a new single-season rookie record, before Justin Herbert broke it 2 years later. After a brutal sophomore campaign, Mayfield bounced back in 2020 and helped the Browns end an 18-year playoff drought. They also defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers on Wild Card Weekend for their first postseason victory since '94. Mayfield turned out to be the right pick for the Browns after all. He, Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward made up for all those years of awful draft selections and unforgettable misses. Joe Thomas. Many Browns fans, experts, and analysts expected the team to take Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn with the number 3 pick in the 2007 draft. In fact, a lot of folks thought Quinn wouldn't even be available to Cleveland at number 3. The Browns pulled off a surprise move by not only passing on Quinn, but by taking Wisconsin offensive tackle Joe Thomas instead with that pick. Predictably, Thomas was met with a not-so-nice reception from the Cleveland fans.
Left tackle, Joe Thomas, Wisconsin.
Well, all the Browns got was a 10-time Pro Bowler and a 6-time first-team All-Pro who's on his way to the Hall of Fame. So Thomas, for starters, proved those angry Cleveland fans wrong. Secondly, the Browns got Quinn anyway with the number 22 selection, but of course Quinn turned out to be a giant bust, lasting only 3 years in Cleveland. So the Browns fans kind of booed the wrong guy, I guess. Kidding, you shouldn't boo any of your team's picks of the draft. But the bottom line is Thomas turned out to be the right pick, even though he's the one that the Browns fans disapproved of. What other NFL draft picks were booed by their own fans, only to prove them wrong? Join us in the comment section down below. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do that by hitting that subscribe button down there. If you like the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And until next time, tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you.